सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। रामो राजमणिः सदा विजयते रामं रमेशं भजे रामेणाभिहता निशाचरचमू रामाय तस्मै नमः। रामान्नास्ति परायणं परतरं रामस्य दासोऽस्म्यहम्। रामे चित्तलयः सदा भवतु मे भो राम मामुद्धर। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। ॐ आप्यायन्तु ममाङ्गानि वाक्प्राणश्चक्षुश्रोत्रमथो बलमिन्द्रियाणि च सर्वाणि सर्वं ब्रह्मोपनिषदं माहं ब्रह्म निराकुर्यां मा ब्रह्म निराकरोत्। अनिराकरणमस्त्वनिराकरणं मे अस्तु तदात्मनि निरतेय उपनिषत्सु धर्माः ते मयि सन्तु। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। इह चेदवेदीदथ सत्यमस्ति न चेदिहावेदीन् महती विनष्टिः। भूतेषु भूतेषु विचित्य धीराः प्रेत्यास्माल्लोकादमृता भवन्ति। We were seeing the last mantra of second chapter. It showed us the urgency of moksha. Iha chedavedi atha satyam asti means having attained a human body, if one is able to let go of this finitude, then everything is good with that sadhaka. Why was the urgency there for moksha? Bhagavan said two reasons. One, he pointed out the pain in having a human form, or any sharira for that matter. He said it's very painful. Don't have any other ideas about it. That was the first point. And second, he said that human body is the only sharira where we have the ability to evolve. Right now, I might be somebody, but that doesn't mean I will stay the same forever. If I put forth effort, do more sadhana, this same mind can evolve, and that ability is there mainly in human sharira, human body. Sometimes English and Sanskrit gets mixed up. So that part we had seen. And we see so many stories in Puranas just to emphasize this point. Having a human body once, that doesn't guarantee that next birth also is human. Right? Which is the story Raja Bharata. One form is human, another was something else. Again he came back, but it took a lot of time. So that point also we had seen. Iha cheda vedid ata satyam asti na chediha vedin mahati vinashti. If one doesn't know, then there is a great loss. Bhuteshu bhuteshu vichitya dhira. One who is able to recognize this Chaitanya, consciousness, in each and every jiva. Bhuteshu bhuteshu vichitya dhiraha, knowing this consciousness to be me. One who knows nature of Atma in this way, that person is liberated. Pretya asmat lokat amrutaha bhavanti. So this lokat word over here refers to adhyasa. Adhyasa between Atma and Ahankara. All pervading infinite Atma starts thinking itself to be Aham. And having misunderstood Aham in this way, it misunderstands Mama also. So these two words will keep coming, Aham and Mama. First, infinite Brahman took itself to be Aham, finite Aham. And that Aham is holding on to things outside and calling it to be Mama. These two words are the root of Adhyasa. That is what Bhagavan will point out. But before that, we saw some general idea about what are the different types of Adhyasas. What are the different types of superimpositions. But it's important to appreciate why are we studying this. Superimposition is not a technical topic. It is happening right here. Between Atma and Ahankara, there is superimposition. What is the main definition of Adhyasa? Taking oneself to be something, taking something to be something else. One thing misunderstood to be something else. And we know whenever this mix-up has happened, our transaction with that mixed-up entity can never be true. If I have understood something as mixed up, my interaction with that entity will always be having some kind of shortcoming. In fact, entire Mahabharata, one of the main turning point was Adhyasa. Duryodhana thought that floor to be water, or he thought that water to be floor, and again he thought that floor to be water. You know that story, right? In a simple, normal floor, he thinks there is water and he raises his gown and then he walks on that. And second time, he thinks it is floor. It was actually water. And he slips and falls there. That is Adhyasa. One thing taken to be another. Ramayana also turning point is Adhyasa only. Sitaji saw deer as golden. Bhagavan says there is nothing called as golden deer. He says no. There is something called as that deer, that is what I want. The main point is when one thing is taken to be something else, our interaction with that thing will be erroneous. So over here, Atma is understood to be Ahankara. And that mixed up entity, I will have erroneous interaction with. Main thing is I will start looking for Ananda outside. Forgetting this fact, I am Ananda Swarupa. But because this Adhyasa is happening over here, and it is very, very subtle, in the sense it is between Atma and Anatma. Right? That is why all the sadhana chatushtaya that we studied before, all of that will be helpful over here. The viveka that I need to do. Having done viveka, the vairagya that I need to have. And ability to withdraw from anything, which is pressing right now. Some urgent thing which is demanding my attention. Ability to withdraw at least for some time. What is that called? Uparama. Shama, Dama, Uparama, Titiksha. Forbearing things which are bothering me. All those qualities will help in this viveka. In this adhyasa, it will help appreciate that adhyasa. Otherwise, what is the point in studying all the sadhana chatushtayas, right? Sometimes it looks like they're discrete things. Sadhana chatushtaya is one part, and all these technical discussions, they are another part. You say, no, that sadhana chatushtaya will help me over here. Okay. So the first two adhyasas, they were arthadhyasa and jnanadhyasa. What is arthadhyasa? Huh? No, you can answer. Just the appearance of a false entity on a real entity. That is Arthadhyasa. What is Jnanadhyasa? Taking that false entity to be real, not appreciating the substratum. That is Jnanadhyasa. Very fine line. Huh? And why did we discuss Arthadhyasa and Jnanadhyasa? That knowledge will remove Jnanadhyasa, perception of Arthadhyasa will continue. That was the part why we saw this. Then came Dharmadhyasa. Dharmadhyasa means attributes of one entity are superimposed on another. Only attributes. Like over here, the color, which is an attribute of cloth. That color is superimposed on the crystal. Right? The cloth is not entering the crystal. Only its color is entering. That is called as Dharmadhyasa. Dharmyadhyasa is when the locus itself gets superimposed and it appears as one entity. Now, why are we discussing about Dharma and Dharmyadhyasa? We say sequentially, if you want to sort out, first I have to let go of Dharmadhyasa. Whatever attributes are there, that I should mellow down, taking on attributes as myself. So I am body, that is Dharmyadhyasa. I am tall, I am short, that is Dharmadhyasa. Why? Because I am taking on attributes of that body that I am superimposing upon myself. So starting with Dharmadhyasa, but the final culmination should be in removing Dharmyadhyasa. That I am this Ahankara, that is Dharmyadhyasa. I am a calm person, I am an agitated person. All those are Dharmadhyasa. Why? Because calmness and agitation are gunas of Ahankara. Right? So if I superimpose attributes, I am superimposing the Dharma of Ahankara. That is why we discussed Dharmadhyasa and Dharmyadhyasa. So between Atma and Ahankara, both Adhyasas are there. One is the locus itself gets superimposed. Between Atma and Ahankara, the locus itself is getting superimposed. And the attributes of Ahankara are also getting superimposed. Right? All of you are with me for this Adhyasa discussion? Okay. So both things are there. We should just appreciate what is happening over here. Okay. Now these are the last two. I mean, there are more types, but I thought 6 are good for now. We can start with 6. Slowly we can add more. The fourth one or fifth one is called as Swarupa Adhyasa. Swarupa Adhyasa becomes Swarupa Adhyasa. Now, what is Swarupa Adhyasa? This is where an unreal entity borrows existence from a real entity. Unreal entity is borrowing existence from a real entity. The best example is our snake and rope. Snake is borrowing existence from the rope. So its Swarupa itself is borrowed. It doesn't even have its existence to begin with. You know why this? So what is the other Darshtanta? Ahankara borrowing existence from Atma. That is where the whole thing starts. Now, why is it important to study Swarupa Adhyasa? I should not insist on driving away the snake. Because it doesn't exist in the first place. It is not there to begin with. Meaning, I should not insist on driving away this Ahankara. Driving away Ahankara means perception of Ahankara. All I have to do is inquire into its falsity and get clear knowledge that this Ahankara is not a real entity. It is only an appearance in Atma. That itself is negation of Ahankara, not non-perception. Okay, so that is Swarupa Adhyasa. Next one, the sixth one, last one. This is called as Samsarga Adhyasa. Samsarga Adhyasa. Over here, attributes of two entities are getting interchanged. Now, don't try to compare adhyasas. Don't try to say what is the difference between Arthadhyasa and Swarupa Adhyasa. What is the difference between Dharmi Adhyasa and Samsarga Adhyasa? Every adhyasa has a specific point to communicate. That point we should catch, not overanalyze all adhyasas. So Samsarga Adhyasa, you just understand what is Samsarga Adhyasa. So two entities are getting interchanged. Attributes of two entities are getting interchanged. Like what? And this is our classic example. Important thing to note here is what are the attributes of each one. Iron ball is cold, iron ball is round, and iron ball is black. Cold, round, black, iron ball. That gets mixed to the second entity, which is fire. And that fire is hot, fire is red. Red hot fire is there. And what do I get? Hot, red, round iron ball. Hot and red came from fire. Round came from iron ball. And together when they mixed up, they appear as one entity. This is the iron ball. Now what is the Darshtanta? There is asamsari Sat Swarupa Atma. Atma is asamsari. There is no creation, there is no samsara in Atma. And it is of the nature of existence, Sat Swarupa. That gets mixed up with samsari and mithya ahankara. This ahankara is samsari. Parinama paricheda paritapahi upaplavat. Means it constantly undergoes modification. It goes up, ups and downs. So many things it keeps going through. That is samsara. Constantly moving from one state to another. That is ahankara. That ahankara, when it comes in contact with Atma, what do I get? Samsari Atma. Means I say, I am samsari. I don't say, this ahankara is samsari. So attributes of samsara from ahankara and satswarupa from Atma, they got mixed up. That is this Samsarga Adhyasa. Now, why are we studying Samsarga Adhyasa? I should not insist on separating iron ball and fire and say only when I separate, I will understand there are two entities. Separation is only through knowledge. If I know that there are two things, that much is good enough. In this case of Samsarga Adhyasa, both of them are independent entities. Means iron ball doesn't depend on fire, fire doesn't depend on iron ball. But in case of Atma and Ahankara, Ahankara depends upon Atma for existence. Right? That is why you cannot separate both of them. I cannot separate the illusory snake from the rope, literally. Why? Because both are depending, the snake is depending upon the rope. So Ahankara depends upon Atma. I cannot physically separate it. Okay. So these are some pointers. That first one, Swarupa Adhyasa, means Atma and Ahankara are different degrees of reality. Ahankara borrows its existence from Atma. This is a great point in Nididhyasana. Not struggling with Ahankara, but knowing that this Ahankara is an appearance. More I have Pramana Buddhi, more I have systematically studied Vedanta, this knowledge should settle down more and more. In sadhana, Ahankara is given a lot of reality. Right? We cannot do sadhana by saying Ahankara is mithya. So ahankara is very much satyam in sadhana. But in nididhyasanam or jnanam, this Swarupa Adhyasa point will be very helpful. What is bothering me is only an appearance. I am Shuddha Chaitanya. In that way, we should understand. And then separating this mix up only through knowledge, not literally wanting to separate them. Literally wanting to separate them means looking for some distinct experience where this mind is not there, everything is quiet. Meaning, if mind is there, then I am not Atma. Only when mind is absent, then I say I am liberated. That notion Vedanta wants to remove. Recently we were discussing, somebody was asking, how do you explain the silence in between thoughts, meaning recognizing Atma in between thoughts, and the mantra in Kenopanishad which says Pratibodha Viditam Matam, recognize Atma in and through thoughts. It looks contradictory, right? On one hand you say recognize Atma in between thoughts. Another hand you say recognize Atma through thoughts. So we say Atma is ever present. Whether there is a thought, whether there is no thought. If there are no thoughts, then it is easier for me to appreciate. But silence doesn't go away when sound comes. In the same way, Atma is a substratum of all thoughts. So either there are thoughts which are flowing or there is gap between thoughts. In both cases, Atma is the same. Okay, that I should appreciate. With this, we'll conclude the last part now of the second chapter of Kenopanishad. What is the page number for this? I didn't put it. 90. New book, right? New book page number. Tasmat gunadoshav vijanantah brahmanaha bhuteshu sarvabhuteshu sthavareshu chareshu cha ekam atma tattvam brahma vichitya vidnyaya sakshat krutya Dheera dhimantah pretya vyavritya mama aham bhavalakshanat avidya rupat asmal lokat uparamya Sarvatmaika bhavam advaitam apannaha Sarvatmaika bhavam advaitam apannaha santah amruta bhavanti brahmaiva bhavanti ityarthah Sayoha vai tat paramam brahma veda brahmaiva bhavati iti shrutehe iti dvitiya khanda bhashyam tasmat evam gunadoshav vijanantah. Gunadoshav means ajnana and moksha. Guna means moksha, dosha means ajnana. So one who has clear knowledge about both these things. Tasmad evam guna doshav vijanantah. One who has understood what is bondage and what is a means to liberation. Bhuteshu. Now it is explaining the mantra. Bhuteshu vichitya Dheera. Second line, right? So what is bhuteshu? Sarva bhuteshu. In all beings. Sthavareshu chareshu cha. In those beings which are stationary, those beings which are moving. Now in sthavara, Are inert objects included or not? Yes or no? Yes, right? Okay, good. Included in Sthavara is entire creation. In entire creation, wherever there is conditioning, there the sadhaka is recognized Chaitanya. Bhuteshu bhuteshu vichitya dhira. In entire Sthavara and Chara, means moving and non-moving, he doesn't see conditionings anymore. He sees that conditioning as consciousness. And that conditioning is also understood as an appearance. So he says, what is really there is only Brahma. Ekam Atma Tattvam Brahma. In all these conditionings, he has recognized that Atma Tattva Brahma. Vichitya. Now see the beauty of Bhashya. What is Vichitya? Means he is not thinking that there is some Brahma which is all pervading. In every object, there is something called as Brahma. I'm not seeing it right now. Maybe if I put more effort, I can see it one day. Not in that way. Vichitya means what? Vijnaya Sakshat Kritya. Sakshat Kritya means he knows that that which is witness of my thoughts, that alone is Brahma, which is appearing as this entire creation. Means he doesn't say Brahma is appearing as entire creation. What does he say? I am appearing as entire creation. That is the meaning of this word Vichitya. Sakshat Kritya Dheeraha Dhimantaha. Means one who has put forth a lot of effort to think in that direction. Because this is not a natural way of thinking. A lot of resistance will be there from inside. Dheeraha means that in spite of so many obstacles, he has still managed to accomplish this fact. Sarvatmaya Bhava. And we should think for ourselves. Does this come naturally to me? Or do I have to put forth some special effort? Right? I am appearing as his creation. Looks like some idea which might be true or might not be true. I don't know. But Vedanta says this is the absolute Satyam. Vijnaya Sakshat Kritya Dhiraha Dhimantaha Pretya. Pretya means Vyavrutya. One who has transcended Adhyasa. This is why I discussed the previous part. What is Vyavrutya? From where has he come up? Vyavrutya literally means having let gone of. Having let gone of what? Mama aham bhava lakshanat avidya rupat. Having let gone of mamatva and aham. Mamatva is with outside things. And aham is with this assemblage. Now we started Kenopanishad with the teaching Shrotrasya Shrotram, Manaso Manoyat, Vachoha Vacham, So Pranasya Pranaha, Chakshushas Chakshu, Atimucha Dheera. One who can let go of I notion in this assemblage, that person is Dheera. And you see how we are concluding Kenopanishad. Same idea, repeated over here. Bhuteshu Bhuteshu Vichitya Dheera. Pretya Asmat Lokat Amrutaha Bhavanti. There also it was said the same thing. Means upakrama, where you start and where you end, that is the same thing. And wherever there is upakrama, upasamhara, it means essence of the teaching lies there. Tatparya of the teaching lies in that point. That I should let go of I notion in this assemblage. And if I do that, whatever mamatva I have taken upon as myself, that should also get loosened. Asmat lokat uparamya. That loka means from this adhyasa. That alone is our samsara, that alone is our loka. Uparamya, having withdrawn, sarva atmaika bhavam advaitam apanna. Every word of Bhashya is important. He is not considering Brahma as something which is all pervading and then Jagat to be on top of it. That part is Adhyaropa part. Now Advaitam Apannaha means he has understood there is only one thing. Between rope and snake, The first step is to know that rope is different, snake is different. Means Brahma is different, Jagat is different. But over here, when it is said Bhuteshu Bhuteshu Vichitya Dheeraha, he has understood Jagat is Nama Rupa, which is Mithya. What is Satyam is Brahma. In that way, he has understood Sarvatmaya Bhava. The previous one is also good. If I can take both to be Satyam, but at least think of myself as his creation. That is what we are saying in Vedanta Sara. Right? That Vyashti Sthula Sharira is one with Samashti. So that Bhava also will expand my thinking. It will make me more accepting. But final step of Vedanta, after having done that, is to know that there is no Upadhi. Upadhi is only an appearance. What is there is Shuddha Chaitanya. So this word we should reflect upon. Sarva Atmaika Bhavam Advaitam Apanna. Why is that word Advaitam used? Advaita means non-dual. There are no two things, there is only one thing. Advaitam Apanna Santaha Amruta Bhavanti. They become immortal. What is immortality? He says they become of the nature of Brahma. Brahma eva bhavanti ityartha. They are not knowers of Brahma. They are not even jnani. They are not even jivan mukta. Somebody asked our Udiya Babaji, Babaji, are you jnani? He said, abhimana of jnana is not there in jnani. Abhimana of jnana is another finitude. He says abhimana of, if somebody has abhimana of jnana, he says that is not a jnani. Abhimana means not pride. This thought that I have Brahma Vidya. So I am different and Brahma Vidya is different. Right? So he says that is this point. Amrutaha bhavanti means Brahma eva bhavanti. Whatever is Brahma Lakshana, they can very comfortably say that is my Lakshana. Brahman is the substratum of creation. So what will this person say? I am the substratum of creation. Don't hesitate, you can say, I am the substratum of creation. Sayoha vai tat paramam brahma veda brahmaiva bhavati iti shrutehe. This is from Mundaka Upanishad. The one who knows Brahma is Brahma. Puja Guruji has a beautiful quote. Knowing the truth is being the truth. Same, it's a English phrase of Brahmavid Brahmaiva Bhavati. Knowing the truth doesn't make that person knower of the truth. Knowing the truth is being the truth. Okay. Iti Dvitiya Khanda Bhashyam. With this we complete the 2 chapters of Kenopanishad. The main teaching that was started from the second mantra, that is completed now. So from this point onwards, some other upasanas will be mentioned, one story will be there. And then the main part that we'll spend time on is Ishvara Siddhi Prakaranam. Why? What is Bhagwan's nature? Why do we need God? If he is there, what is his role? All those things we will try to reflect upon. It will take time. We'll go slow on that portion. So we'll start that after summer. And there will be one student. He will ask a very interesting question. After everything is taught, he will tell the teacher, "Oh teacher, please teach me Upanishad." So then the teacher will say, he will not scold her. Again, he will start saying some upasanas will be there. Some other practices will be mentioned. All of that we will see. So now I thought in the remaining time today and the next session, we can do a Simhavalokanam, a recap starting from beginning. If things have already become clear, then it will be Nididhyasanam. Whatever has already become clear, listening to that again is meditation. If it has not become clear, then it will fall under Shravanam or Mananam. So either way it will benefit. And I would encourage all of you to go back to all the previous portions of Bhashya and then just read it again. Some new insights will come. And you'll see a lot of connections. After having studied the entire 2 chapters, again going back to the first verse, you'll find a lot of new insights. Okay. All right. Simhavalokanam. Like how a lion looks, that is how we will look at the entire chapter now. Long, long ago, we started with Sambandha Bhashya. Sambandha Bhashya was to say, why does this Upanishad open with the word Kenashitam? What is the import of the word Kenashitam? For that, Sambandha Bhashya was presented. Bhagavan said, there are 3 destinations of karma. If somebody is doing dharma in their life, karma in their life, all our karmas can fall only in 3 categories. Here the first one is called as Sakama Karma. Sakama Karma means those actions which are prompted by desires. They are good actions, dharmic actions, but prompted by desire. Where is that going to lead us? He said that will lead us to higher worlds. Punarjanma will be there, but it will be some higher worlds. In this world also we see, right? If you do dharma, even if it is desire prompted, it will take us to better destinations. But it doesn't guarantee that all our sorrows are gone for good. It's only a different setup, same sorrows. So there Bhagavan said that is the first destination of Sakama Karma. But if somebody does Nishkama Karma, actions are the same, but inside there is a switch in the motivation. If somebody asks that person, why are you doing this? He said, don't ask me that. I'm doing this because I like doing this and I get more joy in giving than getting. That is Nishkama Karma. And Bhagavan says, the result of this Nishkama Karma is Jijnasa. That part he mentioned in Sambandha Bhashya, that only the one who has lived a life of devotion and selfless service, that person will get true desire for self-knowledge. And Vairagya also will come, which will bring this person on the spiritual path. Okay, what are the examples that we had seen? Devahutiji and Bhagwan Rama. The thing that Devahutiji says to Kapil Bhagwan, that I have seen this world sufficient now. And I feel as though my sense organs have deceived me. Please make sure that you give me this absolute knowledge. And Bhagwan Rama, before listening to Yoga Vasishta, that Vairagya that he gets, he says, until I gain this knowledge, I'm not going anywhere. So this part we should appreciate. You know, sometimes the greatness of a thing is known by the result that it gives. Greatness of a thing is known by the result that it gives. So if we ever get the question, what is the greatness of Karma Yoga? We should read this Bhashya. Bhagavan says, Karma Yoga will take us to the doorstep of Moksha. Jijnasa it will bring Vairagya. What so many other sadhanas might take us halfway. He says Karma Yoga will take us right there to the doorstep. Next part is Jnanam, which will come through Shravanam. So greatness of a thing is known by the result that it gives. So what is the greatness of Seva? What is the greatness of Nishkama Karma? So greatness is, it will make me adhikari for moksha. That much power it has. That is the main result I should seek. And now Bhagavan just went on a different note over here where he said that seeking higher world and seeking moksha both cannot go together. This technically he says Jnana Karma Samuchaya is not possible. Meaning what? On one hand, I have desire for the world. On another hand, I want moksha. This is both cannot go together. Karma will give me higher worlds. Jnanam will give me moksha. Nishkama karma will prepare me for moksha. Sakama karma will keep me in this world. And what were the reasons Bhagavan mentioned? He said, karma will keep the triad. Triputi will be kept. And jnanam will remove this triad. Right? Pramata, pramana, prameya. Jnata, jnanam and neya. Knower, knowing, and the known object. As long as I'm in karma, this triad has to be kept. I will keep changing objects. I will keep changing this pramata. But the triad has to be protected. Even for enjoyment in higher worlds. Now, higher worlds we saw in Vedanta Sara. What are the different layers and everything. But no matter where we go, if we have to do bhoga, then Triputi has to be protected. And if I want moksha, the first thing I have to let go of is Triputi. So Bhagavan says both cannot go together. Jnana Karma Samuchaya Khandanam he does. And then he says, Jnanam is Vastu Tantra. Means as the object is, so will be the knowledge. You don't have to change anything, do anything. Just get clear knowledge of how this adhyasa is happening inside. That is why the discussion is important on adhyasa. Means after knowing adhyasa, I should not strive to separate both of them. Literally. If literal separation is needed, then I need karma for that. Meaning what? Mind and consciousness, I don't have to literally separate. Right? Only knowledge is sufficient. That is what is moksha. So Bhagavan says, don't mix both of them. For moksha, you don't need karma. So why do I need karma? He says to reach to this point. To become adhikari, to get that jijnasa in my heart. That is Nishkama Karma. And third one was Swabhavikyatu Pravritya. Swabhavikya Pravritya means what? Impulsive life. Whatever my mind says, that I will do. Not what I should be doing. Whatever my mind says, that I will do. So Bhagavan says that destination of that kind of a mind is an environment with repeated rebirth. Sthavareshu means where less degrees of freedom is there, more suffering. That is where this jiva will be led to. Now this again you can connect with the last mantra, Iha Cheda Vedit Ata Satyam Asti. Means only in human birth do I have a choice of going here. It is not Swabhavikya, but I can put forth effort and decide which direction I want to go. And then last part also mentioned about Guru Upasatti. So Bhagavan said that Kenashitam word, what it means is, in spite of having all knowledge, in spite of knowing Sanskrit very well, so many other things, this knowledge cannot be studied on our own. So that question the student is asking is to show that Guru Upasatti is needed. The student has to go to the teacher and then listen to this knowledge. Right? All these points we had seen. I'm just summarizing whatever we had seen earlier. So now don't worry. We are probably in the 27th session today. We are not going to recap again 26 sessions. One slide per mantra, only the key points we will see. Okay, let us chant this together. This is the first mantra. Kenashitam patati preshitam manaha Kena pranah pratamah praiti yuktah Kenashitam vachamimam vadanti Chakshushrotram kaudevo yunakti. I was sharing in our study group last time that one way of studying Upanishad is you read every word of the mantra and then go to Bhashya and try to understand what each word specifically means. So much of discussion is done, elaboration is done. But after you have studied, then go back again to Moolam. Just read the mantra and then see what that mantra speaks to you. What I can remember from Bhashya, what I have understood as meaning of that word. So that's what we'll try to do. We'll not again go back to Bhashya. So this is the question of the student, where he says, Kenashitam padati preshitam manah. What is it that is prompting this mind? What makes the mind go and fall at its veshaya? What takes the mind to its veshaya? What prompts this mind? And all other sense organs. That is his main question. And Bhagavan spent entire Sambandha Bhashya to show that only the one who has Vairagya will get this question. He is not having question about the mind. He is not having question about the world. He is having question about the prompter of the mind, prompter of this world. And then we spent a lot of time reflecting upon the two words, Ishitam and Preshitam. Bhagavan said Ishitam means he is asking about the nature of this prompter. He says, Bhagavan, I have heard about Atma. Casually I have heard. Now I am looking for specific knowledge of this prompter. What is the nature of this Atma? That is what I want to learn. And from Preshitam, he is asking whether this Atma is part of assemblage or different from assemblage. Two meanings Bhagavan gave of the word Ishitam and Preshitam. Right? Keneshitam vachamimam vadanti chakshushrotram kavu devo yunakti. Who is the one who is prompting all this entire assemblage? That Bhagavan asked. And Bhagavan also gave some more other examples. He said this prompting is not like a teacher telling a student to go to a place. Not in that sense, but prompting is like that chakora bird. Color of the eye changes, and based on that, the king decides whether to eat that food or not. You remember that example? If there is poison in the food, the color of that bird's eye would change. Meaning what? Without kartrutva, that bird is prompting the king to eat without becoming a doer. In the same way, Atma is prompting all the assemblage without becoming a doer. That is the main point. Another Vivek Chudamani example is Ayaskantamani, magnet and iron filings. That magnet is not a prompter, it is not a doer. Without becoming a doer, it is still prompting everything around it. In that way, we had seen. Okay, this was the question. Now, what was the answer? Shrotrasya shrotram manaso mano yat vacho havacham sa upranasya pranah chakshushaschakshurati muccha dhiraha pretyasma lokadamruta bhavanti. The question was cryptic, answer was also cryptic. Bhagavan, the Upanishad Rishi, he said, what is that prompter? He said, Shrotrasya Shrotram, ear of the ear, Manaso Manaha, mind of the mind, and so on. So Bhagavan gave a lot of indicators. Bhagavan Shankaracharya in Bhashya, what he said was that because Atma doesn't have independent action, Atma doesn't have any action of its own, it will always be pointed out through some other action. What was the example? He said, like the person holding a sickle. That person, even if he lets go of that sickle, he still has his own name. He still can do some other action. So you can refer to him devoid of that action also. Right? Driver of a car. He is called a driver when he is sitting behind the wheel. But when he is stepped out of the car, he is not driver anymore. He will take up some other karma, some other action. You can call him by that. But Bhagavan said Atma is unlike that. It doesn't have any action of its own. So it will always be pointed out through some other action. That is why Shrotrasya Shrotram is the only way to point out this truth. And Bhagavan also said, Shrotrasya Shrotram is also indicating Vishesha Jnanam of Atma. Remember the 4 indicators that were derived? All of that was from just this word, Shrotrasya Shrotram. And over here, we saw one more important point, Sanghatasya Pararthatvat. That assemblage always functions for somebody different from that assemblage. House is there not for house sake, but for the sake of owner of the house. Car is there because of the owner. In the same way, even this body is not there for the sake of body, it is for the sake of Chaitanya. Owner of the assemblage has to be different from the assemblage. The irony is, all pursuits are taken up for the sake of Ananda. Even this assemblage, you say, it is functioning because of Ananda. But the Swami who is there, he is Ananda Swarupa. So Ananda Swarupa is the Swami, but not knowing that I do so many things to give Ananda to this Brahma. So that part we had seen. That is what is called as Ajnana. Last thing was that all abilities of sense organs, they are borrowed from Chaitanya only. Just like the water, the heat which is there in this water, boiling water, is not inherent to that water, it is borrowed from fire. So sentiency of sense organs is borrowed from Chaitanya. So that's why Raman Maharshiji's hand example. Right? Where is God? He said only this. Meaning what? In every kriya, recognize Nishkriya Brahma. If I know that connection, then that answer is easy for me. Right? Between Nishkriya Brahma and Sakriya Deha. Sakriya means with action. So wherever I see action, my attention should shift on Nishkriya Brahma. Okay, this part also we had seen. Bhagavan said, in between these two words, just add one more word. Chakshusha Chakshuhu Brahma Jnatva. Having known that, the prompter of my ears, prompter of my mind, that Chaitanya is Brahma. Having known that, one gives up I notion in this assemblage. Atimucha Dheera. Now you see the last mantra what we saw and second mantra. Both are similar. Having known my nature to be Brahma, I should let go of I notion in this assemblage. That itself is liberation. Pretya asmat lokad amrutaha bhavanti. Means whatever samsara I am getting in this world is all because of either deha or mind. Although we say pancha kosha, right? Only 2 koshas are bothering. Either it is deha or it is mind. Having let go of I notion, one becomes liberated in that. Now, another thing over here is true vairagya comes through knowledge. One part of vairagya is to see dosha drishti. Right? Dosha drishti means what? To see shortcoming, to see limitations in sense objects, and then get vairagya. This is part of Bhaja Govindam, where other side is pointed out. But see over here what he said is, having known myself to be Brahma and Jagat to be Mithya, this sadhaka gets absolute vairagya. That thing which is not even there, why am I going after it? Right? Puja Guruji gives example of biting into a wax apple. Right? He said one house he went, everything was kept so nicely, and he wanted that fruit, which was so fresh and big. And that Amma was not giving that fruit, and going inside, coming out, going inside. So he said when she was inside, he quietly took it and had a bite out of it. He said the moment you have a bite, the kind of vairagya you get towards it. He said like that we should get towards the world. Because it is not even there, what am I seeing? What am I seeking there? This is that Brahma Jnatva Ati Muchya. Having known myself to be Brahman, I should let go of that I notion. And then two meanings we saw, Pretya Asmat Lokat. One was Videha Mukti and Jivan Mukti also. Means while living in this world, if these conditionings are well tuned, then that person is as though liberated. 80% liberation done just by removing our Shobhana Buddhi. Shobhana Buddhi means some kind of false hope from sense object. In Amrita Bindu Upanishad, there is one mantra. What is that one? Second one. I'm getting the third mantra. Second mantra is Mana eva manushyanam karanam bandha mokshayoho bandhaya veshaya saktam muktam nirvishayam smrutam. See, what is said there is nirvishaya mind is mukta. That mind which is devoid of sense objects, means Shobhana Buddhi for sense objects. Upanishad Rishi say that mind is as though liberated. It is already free. Jnanam will work right away. Okay, so all these are reflections on this mantra. And then Vishesha Jnanam of Atma, we saw four indicators: Asanga, Atma Jyotihi, Sarvantaraha, and Nityaha. Four indicators we saw. Bhagavan took a lot of pain to derive each of them. He said, why Asanga will be Atma Jyoti, why Atma Jyoti will be Sarvantaraha, how that Sarvantaraha will be Nitya. All four indicators were mentioned. Okay. The remaining mantras we will see in the next session. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Our Kenopanishad talks have all been uploaded on YouTube. Our Sridharji and team very diligently took all the notes, did all the titles and everything. And hope all of you get a chance to review that thing back again. I would encourage to do it with the slide, meaning with Bhashya. If you have the have it marked in the book, either directly from there or you can use the slides also. Both will be very helpful. Okay. And guided meditation sessions are also uploaded. So if you want to review all of them back, most welcome. Okay, there are a few questions here. Let me see if I can take them quickly. We say that consciousness conditioned by subtle body is Taijasa and Prajna for causal body. Kartartva is in Vijnanamaya, where I notion resides, and all Ananda in waking state derived from the world outside is actually coming from Prajna, where Bhoktartva is embedded. So although we say consciousness conditioned in waking is Vishwa, in the waking state, both the subtle body, Taijasa, and causal body are active as temporary happiness. Why is it that Taijasa always is referred to with dream state, when in actually Manomaya, Vijnanamaya Kosha are active, even in waking state along with Bhoktatva? It is mentioned or it is referred to as in dream state because distinct expression of that kosha is there in dream state. Distinct expression means devoid of Stula Sharira. In dream state, I am experiencing Sukshma Sharira devoid of Stula Sharira. That is why it gets the name Taijasa. In Sushupti, I am experiencing Anandamaya Kosha distinctly, devoid of Stula, devoid of Sukshma. That is why it is getting the name. Reflecting on Yasya Matam Tasya Matam verse, meaning he who understands it, he who comprehends it not and he understands it, not who feels he has understood it. Somewhere along my reflection on this expanded to reflecting on not just intellectually getting it, but factually transcending into it. Like in meditation today, when we are not just intellectually comprehending the presence of koshas and dissolving it in samashti, not just intellectually understanding this, but something intuitive has to happen while in the process of nididhyasana for it to serve its purpose of looking beyond panchakosha. Not intellectual, but factual. So what we mean by dissolving vyashti into samashti is I just have to get clarity in my buddhi. Really speaking, I don't even have to dissolve. Why? Because it's already one. Right? What does the state have to do to dissolve into the country? Just know itself to be already one. If I think myself to be different, then I have to correct it. And this is something, if we look for some intuitive experience, we have to define it first. Either take some Upanishad pramana or find some, pramana by which it is said, okay, this experience is what we are looking for. So in Shastra, it is said, all we are looking for is Sarvatmaya Bhava. The way that I look at my Panchakosha, in the same way I should be looking at Samashti Panchakosha. So that is the dissolving part. Okay. All right. Next Saturday, we'll have our last session and then we'll take a break for Samara. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.